Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to Rocket City Yardstead. I wanted to show you guys what we got accomplished this weekend. So, we did not work on the greenhouse. In fact, we're going to fill my trench back in and just take a break from this. But we got the rest of the soil put in. We added compost and we put out a whole lot of plants. We've got sweet peppers. I tried transplanting a little zinnia. So far, so good, I think. It looks like it's going to make it. We've got tomatillos, some eggplants. These guys were really starting to struggle, so we wanted to get them in the ground. A Heat Master tomato. I have two of those. These are the only bush varieties of tomatoes I have. And then we sort of mirrored things on the other side. So more eggplants. We actually need to get an eggplant. I was one short if we want the two sides to match. More tomatillos. And the rest of my sweet peppers. We got all of this planted Sunday afternoon and evening. It's beautiful right now, but we had a very, very lovely, overcast, coolish several hours that we came out here and we're planting in the garden. And my mom said it was a great way to spend her Mother's Day. So I'm so excited to see stuff in the ground. To top it all off, it rained last night after we planted everything. Let me show you the garden cart. We got a nice soaking rain. So everything is good and watered in. And I'm definitely happy that we opted to top everything with compost. I will show you not enough sweet peppers for it to be a complete mirror. We have this section right here that doesn't have anything planted in it. I'm not exactly sure what we want to plant here. We may do some flowers, but we still have to plant out most of those two beds. I did plant the pineapple sage. It is very stressed. Pineapple sage is not supposed to bloom until the fall when the days start getting shorter, and it's got some flowers. So we'll see if it's able to bounce back. I had actually set it in one of my garden beds, and it never crossed my mind, but when my mom went to grab it, it had rooted through the bottom of the cup and had roots about this far down into the soil. So we got all of those up and they are still a part of the plant. We didn't rip them off, but we'll just have to see how this plant does. But so apart from that, the rest of this has to get planted, and then we are going to cover up the greenhouse area. And I don't know if I've completely mentioned, but we are mirroring this on the other side of the greenhouse. So because we're kind of at a standstill on the greenhouse, we're just going to fill that trench back in that I'd made. We're going to make the landscape fabric go as far as it needs to, leave a gap for the greenhouse and the walkways, and put the other beds in place. Because we have a big pile of wood chips and soil sitting in the driveway that need to go in. So that is where everything is right now. I also wanted to show you guys that those basils we transplanted are doing really well. They're still tiny, but they're perky and standing up. And so I think they're going to make it and thrive here around our fig tree. We did bring out some of our garden chairs and set kind of in the nooks of the L-shaped beds. I kind of like it. You know, you get to sit kind of nestled in the garden. We're contemplating getting a little table and keeping a couple of chairs in here. And if we need to move the chairs to get to something in the bed, that's fine. But we also have walkways all the way around the outside. And these are only 2 foot wide beds. So we don't necessarily have to be able to get to them from both sides. But, ooh, the sun came out. It's really bright, y'all. But I wanted to show you my view from here because it's just really nice. I can look at the other garden. And it's so beautiful this time of year, so full of lots of growing things. Unfortunately, the walkways are growing too. I do really need to weed whack those. But otherwise, it's just really a lovely place to come out and sit and drink my morning tea. Different day, new pair of overalls. But I wanted to show you guys what I got accomplished yesterday. I got the rest of my tomato plants planted. They are small and sad this year. I think the soil that I used was just not great. They're not great. They're pretty small. I think the soil I used was not the best this year. So, and then some of them randomly are a lot nicer looking. But I fertilized them and got them in, and hopefully they're going to do well. It just started sprinkling again, you guys. So yesterday I did get my trench filled back in, and I got the landscape fabric rolled out the rest of the way. And today we got the rest of the beds put together. It started raining really hard as we were putting the last bed together. So they aren't set exactly where they're going to go. But you can kind of see how big this new area is going to be all together. So take a look down the end. Part of why getting those beds all put together became priority number one is because I really need to get them filled. Let me show you. I have all of these peppers that still need to be planted. And I need those beds for them to go in. I also wanted to show you guys the cattle panel arches. We had some thoughts on how we were going to do them this year. It's not going to work. I'm going to have to sort of think through how this is going to work. I did want to show you guys, we had some thoughts for our cattle panel arches. It's not going to work. So I'm going to have to rethink this a little bit. We got pool noodles and we were going to try and just use the, I don't know what the word is, my brain is, the weight of the beds to kind of hold the tension of the cattle panels. But these are too close together and the cattle panels come inward into the walkway. We may have to use some landscape staples or something. I'm really going to have to think through this. But the pool noodles do keep it off of the beds. So I think that's going to be a win, even though it looks kind of silly, these lime green pool noodles. So if you have any thoughts on what would help here, I really don't want to put T-posts in. They're going to stick out pretty far into the walkway. But I don't know if you can hear. The rain is coming harder. But this is high on the list of figuring out what to do because I have multiple things that are started from seed that need to go on my cattle panels. I have other things I need to get planted, but this keeps happening. Rain. Yesterday, I think we got like an inch of rain in like an hour. Just the skies opened up like crazy. I had to go inside because it started raining pretty hard. But I had not mentioned the landscape staple idea, or I hadn't thought of the landscape staple idea until I mentioned it. And so I thought it couldn't hurt to just give it a try. So the arch is not perfect. It's a little wonky. I think that's probably because we are reutilizing arches that we had somewhere else. And so they're already a little bit warped and stuff. But currently, I think that's going to work pretty well. It's holding them nice and close to the beds. Doesn't really interfere with the walkway. And the arch is a little wonky, but nothing too bad. So we'll see how this holds up. I hope it does good. But since the rain stopped, I want to get some green beans planted. Every time I think I'm going to get green beans planted, the skies open up. It looks like it's clearing. I'm going to get some green beans planted. I think it's going to be easiest to plant my beans coming in through the cattle panel. So I'm just going to go down here and put one at every one of these upward braces. I am growing a bean called Seychelles this year. I saw them on the Johnny Seeds website. I think they're called Johnny Select Seeds. So the website said that these beans are stringless and that they are slow to mature. So you have longer to pick them before they start getting too big and too, I guess, beany inside, before the beans on the inside start producing large beans. That all sounded really good to me. Here we go, beans all planted. Well, you guys, I think this is where we're going to call it for today. I look around and I see so much stuff that still needs to be done that it's kind of good to have these videos to look back and be like, wow, we actually got a lot accomplished. But all of these plants in, the other beds in, and the landscape fabric down, we're making great progress. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.